Another eitzah for us to work on our Shmiras Halashon is to create more of an ava. A lot of times a person can be careful with what they say, but it's much harder to be careful about what you hear, because how do I know this person is not going to be speaking Lashon Hara to me? How do I know that when I start a conversation, it's not going to come up something else that I cannot listen to, that it's also to listen to, or certainly also to believe? How can I control that? I might be able to work on it for myself, but how can I help? How can I work on it when somebody else comes to speak with me? Even the Chafetz Chaim himself was nervous about listening to Lashon Hara. When he was an older person and he had a hard time hearing, he was so happy because it made it much easier for him to not listen to Lashon Hara. He even said, the story is told about him, that he was happy that he was losing his hearing because nobody is going to come and scream Lashon Hara into his ears. So how can we work on listening, on our not believing Lashon Hara? And a great way of doing that is by working on our Ahavas Yisrael. If a person truly has Ahavas Yisrael, and he hears something negative about another Jew, it's going to hurt him. He's not going to want to listen. A person who has Ahava for their spouse, a person who has an Ahava for their child, and somebody comes to speak Lashon Hara, you feel disgusted by it. I don't want to hear these terrible things. If a person has that same level of Ahava for every other Jew, then you're not going to want to listen. Nobody's going to want to listen to that, because how can you say such a thing, such a terrible, horrible thing about the person that I love? So when we work on our Ahavas Hashem, and this is what you see, this is what the Chafetz Chaim has. He worked in so many svarim about love for other Jews, and really that's why we know Sinas Chinam is related to Lashon Hara. So certainly the Ava that a person is supposed to have for his fellow Jew certainly is related to keeping away from Lashon Hara. So the more we work on that, the more we work on caring about our other Jews, even not the Jews that are not necessarily like us, even the ones who are mistaken in their avodas Hashem and they're doing things wrong. But we truly love every Jew. We're not going to want to listen to anything bad about any Jew. And in that schus, Be'ez Hashem, we will also be roy to keep away from Lashon Hara. Thank you for listening. To hear more shurim like this one, go to jfoundations.com. If you'd like to support us or sponsor an episode, go to jfoundations.com/support.